fucking franchises here, bud.
All right, welcome. We're here in Memoriam today. This is the franchise. We're covering a pair of franchise pictures. That was a production company, a really bad one. And I'm your host, Daniel Ehrenberg, and over there's Logan Adair. Now, Matthew Perry's dead, Logan.
Why couldn't there have been a Fool's Rush in too, though? Am I right?
I know. Wouldn't that have been more enjoyable than what we just went through?
Or even 18 again?
It's 17 again, sir.
But the sequel would have been fucking 18 again,
That's
motherfucker.
a good call. That's a really good point.
Or
man.
17 again.
I read that Matthew Perry said in his will that if they ever make a movie about him, he'd like to be played by Zac Efron.
But he said that after 17 again, right?
I don't know if it was in his will.
Oh, you made that up.
He did say it. He did say that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What's neat?
Oh, very neat.
Zac Efron's off playing a wrestler right now. Is he playing a real wrestler or a fake wrestler?
Playing a real wrestler. We're going to come across him pretty soon on our show, the Sunday Night Wars, on patreon.com/the franchise.
Who is he?
$5 a month. One of the Von Erichs. It's all about the Von Erich brothers.
Okay.
The Texas tornado and whatnot. Okay. L Dog, I'm curious about this. So I grew up with Friends, you know? Friends was like a really important show and shit. It was a hit. It was like the #1 show in the world. I loved it. Okay. Watched every episode like a bunch of times. Owned all the DVDs. What you grew up like Friends was on already when you were born, like for a few years. What are your feelings on Matthew Perry? Like, what did he mean to you?
Well, he doesn't mean a whole lot to me. I would say I do love Friends. It wasn't like Full House. I was way more into Full House when I was little. But when I was like 11 or 12, I watched my first episode of Friends, and I've seen it all. Never in order. I never got on Hulu and watched all of Friends or anything. But I've seen them all. I could tell you all about them. I could name them all. You know, Joey, Phoebe, Rachel, Ross, Monica, Chandler. That's them all. That's all of it. Right?
You got them all, yeah.
But
by the way, I think it's on Max.
Okay, whatever. But
because they had that reunion. Remember the big reunion?
Of course. But I love Friends. Not at Seinfeld. I'm way more. If people like you got to choose Seinfeld or Friends. I'm way more Seinfeld. But I love Friends. But I wouldn't say Matthew Perry. Like there are probably 300 celebrities ahead of Matthew Perry that I love. Probably. But nothing against Matthew Perry. I mean, you asked me a question, but
of course, no, I was just curious about it. He was probably just sort of around. You'd see him here.
He's adorable. I always thought. I always liked him.
He's very cute. Yeah, all right. So yeah, I mean, he meant a lot to me. It reminds me of like Henry. Remember Henry? My old ghost.
Yeah, I thought you meant a different Henry.
No, Henry. And I remember him talking early on in the franchise about like Eddie Murphy meaning so much to him growing up and Chevy Chase and him just like basically taking his personality from them. I think Matthew Perry was one of those people for me.
I had no idea.
Yeah, I didn't even really either until I thought about it. And then it was like my very early sense of humor, probably the vibe of it was a lot taken from Chandler.
But Chandler's like is he like a cynical guy?
Yeah, he's a cynical guy and he's a quippy boy.
I thought he was just like a lovable,
defense
quippy
mechanism.
Okay. All right, that's fair.
I don't know. I was like
I think you're more Ross than Chandler.
I think these days I'm more Ross. I'm beaten down. I don't give a shit. I'm going crazy. Like if someone ate my fucking sandwich, I'd lose my shit. Um,
And I'm Joey. How you doing?
but I think I used to be more Chandlery. Like in
Okay.
the early days, I was quicker and quippier.
Remember the episode where they lose? It's like a bird or something in their pool table. So they break down the pool table.
Of
Remember
course
that
they
episode?
do. It's the chicken. They have a chicken and a duck. The chick gets lost to the pool table.
Oh, of course.
You can't test me on Friends. I know every episode.
Yeah. No, you're right. Of course.
Yeah. Yeah, I could tell you what season episodes are from. I
Wow.
I
Not as
just
good as
realized I
Buffy, though.
started. No. I'm perfect with Buffy. You can never fucking top me with that.
We'll find
But,
out when we do trivia one day. Stay tuned, everybody.
But I watched the DVDs so many times that like I have them like color coded in my mind. I'm like, oh, that's from Orange season. Because all the
Orange
Friends
season.
boxes,
Oh.
yeah, because all the Friends DVDs look exactly the same except they're different colors.
I love that.
Yeah, Orange season is season 4.
How many seasons are there? I thought there were like
10.
10. Oh,
10, yeah.
that's more than the rainbow. What do they do?
They go crazy with some of it, man. I'll tell you what. Fucking season 2 is red season. Season 10, dark red season.
What? Holy
Yeah.
cow. What about season 1 and season 9? Are they the same also?
No, 1 is blue. 9, if I recall correctly, is sort of a lighter orange than 4.
Huh. All right. I'm gonna have to check
Yeah.
this out. See if I approve of what the. I don't know by what you're describing if I like it. We'll see.
All right, check it out. All right, but P Dog, as I call Matthew Perry, he was my dog. I he wasn't in that many movies, theatrically released anyway. You know, he had his opportunity, like all the Friends did, to star in a few movies, but the biggest hit, far and away, was this one that it was such a big hit they had to make a sequel to it. It's The Whole 9 Yards.
Yeah. Why is that? Why do people like this? Was it Bruce? A few years ago?
Bruce Willis was a really big star at this point. Matthew Perry was still. It's the heart of Friends. He filmed this between seasons 5 and 6, so it's exactly in the middle. And fucking, I hate to tell you this because I know it seems to me that you hated watching this.
I didn't like it that much.
Yeah, but this got really good reviews. Like this was a word of mouth hit. Believe it.
I know
or
we
not.
talked about it on. We talked about it. We talk on Buffy. We talk about what's going on in the box office, and we just recently covered the week where this movie came out. Believe it or not, it came out between Goodbye Iowa and This Year's Girl.
That's right.
And so we just talked about it, and this was the #1 movie 2 weeks in a row. People love it.
Yeah, I think Roger Ebert might have given it 4 stars.
4 out of he gives only 4 stars. He thought this was a masterpiece.
He loved it.
You know what? I thought it was like bad. A Fish Called Wanda.
It's very much like that, and I'll tell you why. Because it's directed by a fellow named Jonathan Lynn, who is a British filmmaker who almost exclusively makes farces. Fish Called Wanda is like entirely in his wheelhouse. He's best known probably for the British TV shows Yes, Prime Minister, and Yes, Thank You, Prime. There's like a sequel to it. I don't know. But to us, of course, Logan, he's best known for writing and directing Clue the movie, one of the best movies ever made.
And another 5-star. I agree with you, but another 5-star masterpiece, according to me, My Cousin Vinny. I love that movie. I don't know if he wrote that movie, but he directed that movie.
Yeah, and I mean, you could sort of see tonal similarities, can't you?
I don't know. I guess tonally.
Tonally, yeah. Here, I actually have a Jonathan Lynn list. You want to hear it?
Yeah. Holy cow!
Here
You
it is.
really did rank everybody.
Yeah, I've seen 8 of his movies. here's 8 Jonathan Lynn movies ranked worst to best. Worst, Trial and Error. That was the film with Jeff Daniels and Michael Richards. It was a Michael Richards vehicle. He liked to work with sitcom stars of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Number 7, The Distinguished Gentleman, which is a pretty poor Eddie Murphy movie. Even Henry doesn't like that one, which says something. Number 6 is The Whole Nine Yards. Number 5, Sergeant Bilko, which is a Steve Martin movie that's based on like a sitcom from the 60s. Phil Hartman's also in it, and Dan Aykroyd. Number 4, a totally underrated movie. That's right. You know what I'm talking about. It's Nuns on the Run.
That's what I thought you'd say.
I knew you would. Fucking Nuns on the Run rules. Number 3 is Greedy, which is starring Michael J. Fox. I recently watched that Michael J. Fox documentary on Apple Plus. Still, you know, and in the narration,
and you didn't know it was about his shaking until I told you, right?
I didn't know. I didn't know that's what the title was referring to.
You thought it was what, like he was still alive or something?
I can't, just like forever, still.
Okay.
Yeah. But like Still DRE by Dr. Dre.
I don't know.
Yeah, okay. But Greedy, when they got up to Greedy in that movie, the narration like skipped over. It was so insulting. It was like, and around this time he made a bunch of shitty little disappointments like Greedy. And I was like, what the fuck? I love that movie.
Yeah, that's upsetting. I'm sorry.
I was pissed off about that. But anyway, that's my number 3, Greedy. It's Michael J. Fox. Number 2, My Cousin Vinny, of course, and number 1, Clue.
Okay. You never saw I See Wild Target?
No, I've never seen
That's
that
a
one.
more recent one, 2010.
Yeah, the only ones of
And
his
The Fighting
that I've never,
Temptations.
yeah, those are the only 2 films he's ever made that I've never seen.
You gotta catch up, bro. What are you doing?
Yeah, bro, I gotta be a Jonathan Lynn completist.
Yeah. What are you doing? Nobody saw Wild Target, by the way. That's crazy. Emily Blunt, Bill Nighy, Rupert Grant.
Oh yeah, I remember
Rupert
trailers
Everett.
for
They got
that.
all the Ruperts in this movie. Martin Freeman.
Is Rupert Friend in it?
Yes. No, he's not. No,
Oh
he's
my
not.
god, I believed you for a second. All right, so that's our director. The movie was written by a fellow named Mitchell Kapner, though. And he's a guy that really hasn't gone on to much. He did this. He has a story credit on Romeo Must Die, which came out the same year. Then he has a screenplay credit on Into the Blue 2: The Reef, which we'll definitely cover because
Parvati
Logan
and
loves
Amanda.
Into the Blue.
Oh,
that's
the one with
right.
Parvati and Amanda, though.
That is the one with Parvati Shallow and Amanda Kimmel.
I say these people like we just know them, but I guess to the
know.
audience they don't know our
That's
reality.
what I mean.
TV
I was
people.
trying to help people out a little bit.
Yeah,
That
will be awesome though. That'll be a great episode
for sure. And then he also he wrote Oz the Great and Powerful for
Oh right,
Sam
your
Raimi.
review.
And that
Talked
blew
about
my fucking mind, all right? Because not Matthew Perry in this movie is named Oz. Okay?
Right.
First of all, it's so weird that right at this time, like 1999, 2000, we just kept naming male characters Oz and shit. And then we never did it again forever.
Ozzy. Speaking of Parvati and Amanda.
Shut up. Also, I love you. That's me voting for Amanda at the end of the show as Ozzy.
That's a perfect season, except for Suri losing. Except that part, I guess.
But
Spoiler
Parvati
alert.
wins. It's
I
good.
know,
Okay.
I know.
All right. Where were we?
Oz. How
God
is it
damn-
used all the
yeah.
time?
Yeah, so I was gonna say Chris Klein in American Pie, Matthew Perry in this, Seth Green and Buffy, all Oz's, and then we just never did it again. And then I'm watching this movie. I already looked up the writer on IMDb. It blew my mind that he wrote Oz the Great and Powerful. And then halfway through this movie, like Amanda Pete's talking to Matthew Perry, and she's like, "You're Oz the Great and Powerful."
Yeah, they did say that.
And I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, wild moment.
Yeah. Amazing. Okay. So that's our creative team. This movie came out February 18th, 2000 on a $41.3 million budget. Looking at that budget, I'm going to say more than half of that went to Bruce Willis.
I hope so.
Yeah. And it made $106.4 million at the box office. Coming in at number 46 for the year between Next Friday, a movie that we covered, and Shanghai Noon, a movie that we can cover.
So not as big a hit as I had thought, I guess.
It was a modest hit, yeah.
Well, you
Well-
you like hyped it up. I feel like it's like number 45 of the year or whatever. So.
It felt like it. You know why? Because it was like February 18th it came out. It felt like it was the first big movie of the year. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Right.
Like
yeah.
sort of like Mithrigan was this year. Ultimately, when you look at the rankings
forget
at the end of the
Skinamarink.
year, you fuck you. I'm trying really hard to forget Skinamarink.
That one
Um,
corner though, you can't get out of your mind. It was
I
just
know
so
it's
good.
really haunting me. Yeah.
I gotta watch that.
That's what you should do. You're off the next few weeks. Watch Skinamarink, do a YouTube video ranking the scariest corners.
You might be onto something. I like it.
Okay. Anyway, this was nominated for 2 Blockbuster Entertainment Awards, and that's it.
Do we have a theme for that?
Yeah, we do.
Blockbuster Video got awards. What a difference.
Michael Clark Duncan was nominated for supporting actor in a comedy, and he lost to Jack Black for High Fidelity.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And Amanda Peet was nominated as well for the supporting actress, and she lost to Maria Bello for Coyote Ugly.
I never saw that. Why do I picture Jack Black and Amanda Peet together for some reason though? Were they ever
Jack
in a movie?
Black and Amanda Peet together.
Maybe not like romantically, but I picture them in a movie together. That never happened.
I gotta
I
say,
feel like it should have if it never did.
I feel like that pairing makes sense to me for some reason.
Yeah, but I can't place it. But I feel like that makes so much
Google
sense.
Jack Black and Amanda Peet. See if anything comes up.
What if it was like they dated from 1999 to
That
2004?
would blow my fucking mind.
No, I actually looked up her dating history. Did you know that she was with the one who's with the 2.5 Men grandma?
Sarah Paulson?
They like were apparently together. They were Saving Silverman.
Ah, there you go.
That-
Fucking saving Silverman,
That's
bro.
what it is.
Dude, they have that great scene in the basement where he's like feeding her and she's trying to convince him that he's gay. It's super good.
Yeah, yeah. Why can't I place that?
Dude,
You
Saving
couldn't either. That's
Silverman
weird.
is pretty good.
I haven't seen it in a long time.
You know, anytime I go to sit down on a surface and there's like crumbs on it, I say out loud, give her the old sweeperoo because it's from that movie.
What if you're alone? You still say it?
I still say it.
I gotta watch that again.
I think especially when I'm alone.
Okay.
Okay. Let's. Oh, do you want to? I have so many lists. First of all, we could do our 2000 list.
We just did it.
Oh, we just did that one.
We just did both of these. We just did that for Final
Day.
Destination, and we did this for Blade. Whatever one of the Blades was. I looked it up.
Don't you want to hear my Matthew Perry ranking?
Yes, that would be good.
I made a special ranking of all of Matthew Perry's many great roles. 16 items on the list.
He said he
Includes-
hopes number one is not Chandler. So
Well, his hopes are misguided.
I don't know why he said that, or people are like misquoting something. But I've been seeing that all over the place. Like he doesn't want to be known as Chandler, or I think he wants to be known for like his work with like alcoholism or something.
Yes,
That's
that's
what
what
it
it is. It has nothing to do with like him.
Yeah, I don't
not
think it was like I want to be known as Johnny whatever. Yeah,
Yeah, I want to be remembered from my one episode of Scrubs.
really.
Yeah.
We'll see where that landed. All right.
We'll see. Okay, number 16 on the list, the whole 10 yards, baby. Number 15, Serving Sarah. That's a rom-com. It's him and Elizabeth Hurley wandering the countryside together. I saw it in theaters. It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Number 14, 17 again. Also a terrible movie.
Oh, what?
I used to, after I saw 17 again. This is a true story. I can't believe I'm saying this out loud on a show.
You said the crazy
I-
shit. Why are you so crazy? Why are you?
This is in some ways this is the most embarrassing thing.
You remember your story about Diary of a Wimpy Kid? Come on, nothing's ever gonna top that.
After 17 again, after 17 again came out, I saw it in the theaters, and I thought it was so funny that I was gonna go to an open mic night and do stand-up comedy, and I wrote my entire set about the movie 17 again.
Okay, that might be number one. What does that even mean? Oh my god. I guess I gotta watch this to see what that even. Okay.
Okay. Number 13, Almost Heroes. Him and Chris Farley. Now, by the time that movie came out, Farley was already dead. Now, Perry joins him in the afterlife.
Mm.
I'm sure they're making people laugh a lot harder than they did in the movie Almost Heroes, even though it was directed by Christopher Guest.
A little bit like We Can Be Heroes. Like we're almost there. Not quite heroes, but we.
Has there ever been a good movie with the word heroes in the title?
Of course, right?
Name one.
I don't know. There's a show. Is the show good?
The show's pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, number 12, 3 to Tango. 3 to Tango. Now that's a bit of a triangle film with you got Matthew Perry, of course, Nev Campbell. He's worked with all the Scream ladies, and Dylan McDermott.
Yeah, really.
Yes, really.
That sounds
All
bad.
All right, number 11. Back in the 80s, sometimes you go back, you watch like 80s movies, you see Matthew Perry pop up for a line or two, you're like, hey, there he is. But he's got kind of a slightly bigger part in this one, She's Out of Control, which was a Tony Danza vehicle from the late 80s. All right.
Cool.
That's a movie about a dad just desperately trying to get his sexy 15-year-old daughter not to have sex.
Yeah, those are always great.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And I think Matthew Perry is one of the people trying to have sex with her.
Of course.
Yeah. All right, number 10, Mr. Sunshine. Okay, so Matthew Perry, of course, after Friends, tried to get back on the television sets many times. He starred in multiple dramas and comedies upon leaving Friends. None of them ever hit. None of them ever made it past a single season.
Wow.
Unfortunately.
Was he ever in Joey? Did he ever make an appearance in Joey?
He never did.
Did anybody?
They didn't. Nobody did. They were saving it. They wanted the show to stand on its own legs before any of the friends showed up, but then it never did. So none of the friends ever showed up.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, one guy they brought on was the actor who played Joey's dad.
Really?
Yeah. He
That's
showed
cool.
up in an episode.
Okay.
But anyway, what is it? Where are we?
I don't know, Chandler. Number 10.
Anyway. Oh, right, 10. So Mr. Sunshine. That was like this sort of Sorkin-esque thing with a lot of walk and talks. He ran like a sports arena, and he walked around a lot. I just remember a lot of walking around, and I also remember that the theme song of it was Mr. Sunshine. That was the whole thing.
All right.
Remember that. Number 9. He's in the series finale of Ally McBeal. Just
All right.
that one episode.
Oh, what are we in? Are we in like, is this 3 territory here?
Yeah, we're in 3 territory.
All right.
All right, number 8, The Whole 9 Yards.
Really?
Which is, I don't know about 3 territory, but it felt weird putting it lower.
All right.
7, his one episode of Scrubs that I mentioned. Not only is he great in that episode, he directed it as well.
Wow. Good for
Yeah.
him. What else has he directed?
I don't think much. Maybe just that episode of Scrubs. Let's actually, I'm curious about that. Let me look that up real quick.
Okay.
Matthew Perry directing career. You know what's wild? I just looked him up on IMDb and saw the death date. My instinct was to be like, "Oh, he died,"
No.
and I was like, "I knew that." Yeah, that is his only directing credit. That episode of Scrubs.
Wow. Let's go. Let's watch it. See how he did.
We should. It's good. Number 6, Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip. That show is Sorkin-esque as well, mostly because it was created by Aaron Sorkin.
Yeah, I knew
And
that.
Aaron Sorkin wrote every line of dialogue for the entire fucking series.
That's cool.
But it got canceled after one episode. But the best episode of the entire series, by far, I thought, was an episode about Matthew Perry's character's drug addiction. And I felt like Matthew Perry brought a lot to his performance in that episode. Really good stuff. If you only watch one episode of that shit, watch that one.
Okay. Is this list only based on the product, or is it you're taking into account his performance? This is like the Matthew Perry list, like his.
This is the Matthew Perry list.
Okay. I don't really know what I meant by that. What do you mean? You're right. This is like number one.
I took into account both.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Number 5. Oh, heavy hitters. Okay. Fools Rush In, number 5.
Oh.
Yeah. Number 4, we talked about it. If you want to hear more about us on Fools Rush In, patreon.com/the franchise. What's that show called that we do? Hey, I'm
watching here. Tim just made me watch it. I really liked it.
Yeah. Number 4, I think the best of his attempts at being on TV post Friends, in a regular role anyway, was a show called Go On. And that premiered the year after Community, and it felt like a kind of a Community ripoff at the time. Like it was kind of the same basic structure, except instead of a study group, it was group therapy.
Yeah, I remember this.
Yeah. And I thought he was great in it. The cast had some interesting little oddities going on, like Laura Benanti and Brett Gelman and probably some other people. John Cho, I think, was in it. How about that?
Wow.
He's good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, again, canceled after one season. That was the only one of the shows, though, where when it was canceled, I was like, oh, that's fucking annoying. I would have watched another season of that.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's okay. I'm mourning him more than I am the show Go On that was canceled like 15 years ago.
All right.
Yeah. Number 3, The West Wing. He showed up on The West Wing a few times.
Okay.
All right. Aaron Sorkin really liked him.
Apparently, yeah.
All right. Number 2, The Good Wife / The Good Fight. He was on both those shows. Same character. Crossed over. He's great. Loved him on those shows.
Here's a prominent role.
Prominent lawyer role. It was like he's only in a few episodes, but he's very prominent in his episodes.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. And number 1, Friends.
Yeah. Chandler Bing.
Chandler Bing.
I told you last week when Justin. Oh yeah, I did it because it was outro last week. When Justin Bieber checks into hotels, he goes by Chandler Bing, or he did. He used to.
Wow. I wonder if he'll bring it back as a tribute.
Well, now he's with Hailey Bieber.
Yeah. You know,
Chandler and Monica.
People
Bing.
gave him a lot of shit, but I think Anne Frank would have been a believer.
People gave him what?
You don't remember this? You don't remember this? At one point, Justin Bieber visited the Anne Frank house. Okay, where like she hid during the Holocaust.
Mm-hmm.
And in the guest book on the way out, Justin Bieber signed it, and he said, I like to think she would have been a believer."
He got shit for that?
What?
He got shit for that?
Of course.
Why? She probably would have been. Everybody was. What evidence was there to say she wouldn't have been?
It's just amazing that he visited a Holocaust monument and that's what he walked away with.
Young Justin Bieber was unstoppable. He was so funny.
Remember when he pissed in that bucket?
Of course, yeah. But
So
I liked
many
him when he was even
iconic
younger.
Bieber moments. Oh, me too, dude. I had a T-shirt of him back then.
He was
Big Bieber
so
T-shirt.
fucking funny.
And I used to watch the baby video all the time.
Yeah.
To me, when Baby came out, that felt like as much a fake song as like when Friday came out by Rebecca Black.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then it was wild to me that he ended up having like a really successful career.
Yeah, what's the difference? I don't know. One has Ludacris, right?
Yeah. When I was 16,
13.
I had my when I was 13,
13,
I had my first love. Yeah. Don't need no Starbucks.
Oh my god. Did you see Ben Affleck, by the way? He was walking around with Starbucks the other day. What's going on with that?
I didn't.
He's sponsored
see
by
that.
Dunkin'.
Wow.
That was crazy. You know, you see that commercial with him and Ice Spice? The Dunkin' commercial?
I don't know that I have seen that.
Oh, because her fans are called Munchkins, so she's like
Are
Munchkin
they?
Dunkin'. Apparently, I don't know. She's like Munchkin Dunkin'. Is there anything there? And Ben Affleck's like, I don't know, Ice Spice. I don't know if there's anything there.
I feel like I hate when fan bases have names.
What are our listeners called?
Franchises.
Franchises?
Yeah. Franchisees. I don't know. It to me there's something like fully cringe about it. Like it reminds
like a cult.
it reminds
I
me
hate
of
it
Big
too.
Brother alliance names.
No, but those make sense. Like, because when you
Do
come
they?
up, yes, because when you come up with alliance names, you're inherently trying to. In doing that, it's a part of the game because you're trying to make people feel comfortable, like they came up with the name. It's like a part of them, their identity in the game. You know, they don't want to betray their alliance. We have a name. It's like you name a dog.
I didn't want to get into a fucking Big Brother strategy conversation.
I'm just. I don't want to. You're saying things blindly. I'm just elaborating.
Okay.
We already talked about this movie. Should we get into this movie?
Yeah. So it starts with the logo Franchise Pictures. I'm like, holy shit, Franchise Pictures.
Yeah,
Did we make this
same.
movie? You had the same reaction?
Of course. Yeah.
Then I looked up, found out it's one of the worst fucking production companies ever,
I meant to,
of
I forgot.
course. Okay. I mean, they lasted for like 5 years. They went into Chapter 11 bankruptcy and never recovered. In their first year of production, they put out The Boondock Saints and Battlefield Earth. Like
Holy
two of
shit.
the worst fucking movies ever made. Not too far behind that, Get Carter remake with Sylvester Stallone and 3,000 Miles to Graceland with Kevin Costner, which is so fucking gross. It makes me want to vomit to look at. Then they do Driven with Sylvester Stallone, Fear.com, Ballistic: X versus Sever, which is widely considered one of the worst movies ever made. I mean, it's like they could not make a good movie.
Yeah.
All right. And they closed out the last franchise film to be released by Warner Brothers, which was their parent company, was A Sound of Thunder, which is a disaster of a science fiction movie with some of the worst special effects you've ever seen in your fucking life.
I haven't even heard of some of those.
Well, I think you should be a Franchise Pictures completist.
No. Are you? You saw those?
I've seen everything I mentioned. Yeah. I've seen actually a lot of their movies, weirdly.
That's crazy. They have a lot more than that.
Yeah.
Okay.
They only last like 5 years, but they produced a ton of movies.
What's their best one they ever did?
Well, it looks like they worked with David Mamet a couple of times. So probably Heist or Spartan, which were two that he made. And it looks like also this one, The Caveman's Valentine and The Pledge. A couple of them are good. Animal Factory, that was a good movie.
Okay. All right. Franchise pictures. There we go.
Okay, then set up the movie. What do we got? It's Matthew Perry. He's living in Montreal. I read that this was originally Florida, but they switched it to Canada. I wonder if it was because Jonathan Lynn just wanted to make a bunch of Canada jokes.
Are there a lot of Canada jokes?
I feel like there were, yeah. Like about mayonnaise on burgers and shit.
Yeah, that was weird. What other reason is it cheaper?
Might have been cheaper to shoot there for sure. Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway. So he's living there with his wife, who he hates.
Yeah, I have a
Because it's the
question. Why
year
did he ever
2000.
marry her?
I don't know. People hated their wives back then.
But I didn't understand their relationship at all. He seemed to really hate her, and I was like, "Why? Why did they ever like each other?" I have trouble.
Yeah, I think he
imagining
found
that.
her very sexy, and like maybe at some point he was sort of under her spell. There are a couple of times where she like says seductive things to him, and he's like boing, and I'm like, maybe that used to be more prevalent in the relationship.
Yeah, maybe like you become like a doctor or dentist. You want like a trophy wife or something. Is that a thing? You get a
Well,
lot of money.
he
Well,
says
they
that
didn't have any money, but then later he didn't have. He started out
but
having money.
his shut up. His dental practice was with like this dude who was like an embezzler and also a child molester, and she was his daughter.
Oh right.
Yeah. So
But
I think it
still, why
was,
would you marry her?
I don't know. I guess like you're going to work every day, your boring dentist job, all right? And then you're like boss's daughter keeps showing up, and she's this like sexy girl with like a French accent who looks like Rosetta Arquette. I can see it.
You can see marrying her
Sometimes you just get taken.
to the altar. I don't know about that.
That
She's
back
like
then,
crazy and
that's
mean.
I know. Look. I'm not saying it's a farce. This doesn't
Oh,
totally make sense, but
okay, whatever.
like I
Yeah.
can see it. It made enough sense that I could get on board.
All right, fine. Yeah, I guess so.
Um. All right, so it's those guys, and they have a mom in tow, and then next door moves a new fella, Jimmy the Tulip Tedeschi, and that's Bruce Willis, and he's a Chicago mobster who I guess turned in a lot of his pals and went to jail, and now he's out of jail hiding.
It's a little bit the other side of the coin of the Last Boy Scout, where it's more him like working, like he's like lowering himself to work with like a more of a comedy or more of a like a TV star. I don't know if Wayans was doing TV at the time, but when I was watching this, it felt like the time he worked with the Wayans guy. That's what I was getting vibe. So
Who?
Bruce Willis.
Oh, Bruce. Well, at that time, Bruce was the TV guy.
For the Last Boy Scout in the 90s.
I mean, Bruce Willis was still doing like moonlighting. I know it was after Die Hard, but like when Die Hard came out, that there was some uncertainty about Bruce Willis. Like, is this TV actor gonna work in this big action movie?
Right.
And then he did. So I just think Bruce Willis is not snobby about television, and of
I
course
don't
went
think he
on
is
to
either.
do episodes of Friends after this because he and
That's right.
Matthew Perry got along so well on set.
That's the reason.
Yeah, they like I remember it was a big deal. Like he was in 3 episodes of Friends, and most of his stuff is with Rachel and Ross.
Right.
And then in his 3rd episode, he has one scene with Matthew Perry, and it was like it has nothing to do with the episode at all, but it was like they needed to put him in a scene with Matthew Perry.
For
And-
us
and
or for them?
for them, like it felt like in that scene, it was the most relaxed Bruce Willis felt in all 3 episodes that he was on.
He's only in 3 episodes of Friends.
Yeah. Anyway, tell me more.
Oh, man. So
he leaves the house, okay, to go to work, and Rosanna Arquette like tells him to do me. She goes, "Do me a favor and die." And the movie just started. I'm like, "Oh god damn it! I don't need to be thinking about this guy dying."
Oh right, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. I had the same thought.
Yeah. So that was, and then he's driving to work, and the more credits roll. You see produced by David Willis. I'm like, oh, it's one of those. Okay.
Yeah, I actually
Um,
didn't notice in this one. I noticed in the second one we had a few
it's
Willises in the
it's
credits.
oh my god, it's both of them, man. Bruce Willis's brother David Willis. He gets him a producing credit when he can, and I mean, it's amazing. Bruce Willis at this point is almost worse off than Matthew Perry. The guy is like completely incapacitated. He can't
Yeah.
talk anymore. He doesn't know where the fuck he is. All right. He's been getting used and abused by Hollywood for years now, getting put into shitty
Who was that
straight.
guy that we came across that was in all of his movies recently?
I
Remember
don't
that?
remember him. Yeah, I did.
I gotta find it.
But I mean, he's been getting used by Hollywood for years, getting put in these straight to streaming disasters. Okay, like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 a year. Okay, and they're all, and it's like, what is going on with Bruce Willis? Is he in charge of his own faculties? Turns out, no. Okay, and he's also, but it's been going on his entire career. Look at this fucking user, David Willis, just this hanger on. All right. Then you got in these movies. I mean, I'm sure Bruce Willis put him in himself, but also his kids are popping up all over the place. Tallulah Willis is in both these fucking
Where's
movies.
Rumor?
She's in the first one.
Oh really? Who is she?
She's a little girl. It's in the early on in the movie when Matthew Perry and Bruce Willis are on their like man date.
Yeah.
Uh, some kids are running around nearby, and she's one of them. But Tallulah is the one in the next one that's the Girl Scout.
Oh okay.
He
Okay.
answers the door.
The minty thins, right? They say call them minty thins.
That's right, and those are bad for your teeth.
Yes.
He's a dentist.
Yeah. By the way, I found the guy who's an abuser of Bruce. Supposedly, this is all what we think, but it's the guy from Final Destination 3, Texas Battle. Who gets
Yeah,
the
we're not
weight
sure
smashed
about
in his head.
him, but we are sure that Bruce Willis got fucking abused.
Yeah, we just know this guy was in like 8 of his later movies.
Yeah, which is suspicious.
Yeah, it is.
Um,
But anyway. So yeah,
Yeah.
I thought Bruce Willis could have done a little more. He's like this mob guy. I thought his performance could have been a little better. Could have been a little
Yeah.
bigger.
Bruce doesn't always bring it. I mean, that's just the fact of the matter when it comes to Bruce. All right.
Yeah.
But thankfully, he doesn't have to do much in this one. It's a mob comedy. This was also, it's weird. If the late 90s, early 2000s should be known for one thing, it's that it named a lot of male characters Oz. Okay. But if it should be known for two things, it should be that we thought The Mob was really funny. All right. We did The Sopranos and Analyze This and this movie and a bunch. There's others that I'm not coming up with right now.
There's like movies with mob in the title, right?
Well, Married to the Mob. But
That's what I'm thinking
before-
of. That's exactly
That's
what I'm thinking
well
of.
before this. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Jane Austen's Mafia. That was another one.
Okay.
All right.
But The Sopranos isn't funny. I mean, Sopranos is kind of funny, but it's not like a comedy.
But that's what it was promoted at the time. It was like a mob boss in therapy. What?
Really? That's weird.
Yeah.
That's like all about his mom, like abusing him. Like, what?
I know. But it was just like, look at this guy. He's like a big Italian guy sitting in a chair. Yeah. Anyway. So what else? Tell me.
Yeah,
walk me
but
through
anyway,
it.
so yeah, Bruce Willis moves in next door, and the wife says, "Oh, great idea! We can go get him busted, and we can collect the money that's on."
I
his head,
liked
right?
when he realized that he's a mob guy and the exposition of all the newspapers and shit. I thought that was well edited.
Yeah, I kind of had the same thought. Yeah, so he gets sent off to Chicago to go meet with somebody, but he's like, I don't really want to do it. And then this guy Frankie Figs ends up in his hotel room, right?
Michael
Michael
Clark,
Clark
Duncan.
Duncan.
What a start. You really miss him in the second one.
Yeah, true.
Another dead guy, by the way. What
That's
a
true.
tragic
Oh, I didn't even think
cast
about
this
that.
film has.
Yeah. Damn.
Is Rosanna Arquette dead?
Is she?
Did I make that up?
No, I mean you could be telling the truth. That kind of sounds right.
No, I think Alexis Arquette is dead. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Okay.
Rosanna's fine. Thank God. Okay.
How did Alexis Arquette die?
I don't know.
Oh my God, died September 11th, 2016.
Alexis Arquette?
Yeah, the 15-year anniversary.
Wow.
Yeah.
Rosanna just had her 4th divorce.
Who were the ex-husbands?
The only famous one is the film composer James Newton Howard.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's wild.
I know. I never knew that.
Me either. That's really cool. What does that guy look like? James Newton
He
Howard.
just looks like a dude.
All right. All right. So anyway, so yeah, he meets up with Michael Clark Duncan, but Michael Clark Duncan is like the henchman of Bruce Willis, right? They're like on the same team.
Yes.
My problem. I think this movie is just convoluted for like convoluted sake. Like we get the like random backstory about how he owes money because he got into business with her dad, and then he committed suicide because he was like a child molester, and that's just random backstory for why this guy's in debt. And I guess they thought that would be funny or whatever. And so the wife is like, oh, so go here so we can collect the money, but then really the wife is trying to set him up, and Bruce Willis has an ex-wife, right? Who, or are they still married? I don't
played
know.
by Species.
Yeah, she's great in this movie. Is she in both of them? Yeah. Oh yeah, because she
Yes.
marries him. Yeah. Who is
She
it
has
that's not in both of
Pregs
them?
at the end of the second one.
Arquette
Michael
is
Clark
not in
Duncan's
both of
not in both of them because he's dead.
Arquette missed in the next one also.
Yeah. It's those two. The Natasha Henstridge. I love Natasha Henstridge, but she really brings nothing to the second one.
True. I agree with you there. And so Oz, Matthew Perry, ends up meeting Bruce Willis's wife, and they like each other. And then she says that there's like $10 million that's split between her and Bruce Willis and this other guy who also was set up earlier in the movie. But then then Oz has an assistant played by Amanda Peet, whose name is Jill, and she was
his
also
dental assistant.
she was also assigned to kill Matthew Perry by Matthew Perry's wife. So Matthew Perry's wife is trying to get Matthew Perry killed by Bruce Willis and by Amanda Peet, and also I don't know. And then but then Amanda Peet ends up liking Bruce Willis, which I guess is like kind of funny at first because it's like she was like a fan of him.
I remember when I saw this movie in theaters, I thought Matthew Perry and Amanda Peet had cute chemistry, and I was really disappointed at the end that they didn't end up together.
I agree with that. Yeah. I thought it was cute at first, like she wanted to meet him, but then they like end up together, and I was like, "What the hell? I hate this."
Yeah, like there's one scene where Michael Clark Duncan is like she like falls down when she's going down that hill, and he laughs at her, and he's like, "Sweet kid" or something. And then like 2 scenes later, Michael Clark Duncan is like, "Look at the fucking ass on her," and I'm like, "You just called her a kid." I hate that.
Yeah. No, you're right. And
that said, Amanda Peet shows her boobs in this movie as very memorable. It's the only thing I ever remember about this movie. Like if someone for the last 20 years of my life, if someone has brought up the whole 9 yards, my brain pictures Amanda Peet sticking her head out of that window, going like, "Hey," to Harlan Williams.
Yeah. I mean, could you ever
Bruce
recall
Willis
the
kills
plot
him.
at all to this movie?
I recall bits and pieces, but it's just the idea of it is to make it as convoluted as possible. That's sort of the structure of the movie, is to pile twist upon twist upon twist upon twist until none of the twists even matter anymore. And that's fine if you're gonna do that. It worked better in this movie than it did in the second movie, for sure.
For sure.
but it's to me, it does lose steam towards the end. Like I'm with it to a certain point when Amanda Peet reveals that she's been like hired by Rosanna Arquette. I think that reveal still really works for me. Um, Once it gets involved in the violence part of things, that's always been my problem with action comedies like this. Is like the action one side is going to be worse than the other side. Uh,
I didn't think either. No, I didn't think anything really worked for me, to be honest. Like even that scene you're talking about, like that's fine. But at that point, we were like five little wrinkles deep into what was going on, and I had kind of given up already. And that scene was so like bland. I thought she was just like, "What? That guy? You know that guy?" And I was like, "All right, whatever." Like at that point, I was just going with it. I really, I didn't have a good time.
All right. I had a good time revisiting it. I hadn't seen it since it came out in theaters, which probably helped. It's like a movie that it's funny. Like when they announced the sequel was coming out, I remember seeing trailers for it in like early 2004, and already it was like 4 years later, and the whole 9 yards had like completely left my brain. Like I remember when I saw the trailer, it didn't register to me at first that it was a sequel, and then I realized what it was a sequel to, and I was like, "Oh, they made a sequel to that?"
Wow.
And so now it's 20 years later. The movie's almost completely left my brain, and it's just a relic of another time where, like, you know, Bruce Willis was on top of the world, and Matthew Perry was still Chandler Bing, and Amanda Peet was
Hadn't done
young,
Identity
and yeah, Natasha Henstridge was still Species, and it's an all-star cast. I think Michael Clark Duncan is great in it. Amanda Peet is my MVP. I don't know. To me,
I think Michael Clark Duncan gets better. I think the first scene of him in the hotel room, I think he's having to deliver way too many lines. It's clear he's like that he
no. Once he teams up with Bruce Willis, I think he has
Yes.
cute chemistry with Bruce Willis.
Of course, yes, he's very. He's one of the cutest actors ever. I love Michael Clark Duncan. He was in an episode of Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, by the way. He played their basketball coach in an episode.
I'll just move on. I also liked Kevin Pollak in this, which
I liked him more in the next one.
I hated him in the next one.
I didn't like him in this one, so.
Oh my god!
In the next one, he was like at least going for something I could enjoy a little bit.
Kevin Pollak, one of our finest podcasters.
Really, what does he do?
Yeah, I don't know if he does anymore, but he used to have a podcast where he interviewed people.
The
And his co-host was Sam Levine from Freaks and Geeks.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
He used to be in a movie trivia thing that I used to watch. He was pretty good. They treated it like the WWE, like he was like the champion for a while. But I didn't like any of the performances that much. Like even like I think Amanda Peet's really cool. I thought she was fine here. I think my favorite one, my MVP, might be Arquette.
Really? That's interesting, because I was sort of considering her for LVP.
No way. I thought she was severely missed in the next movie, and I thought that
I think it's just over the top and kind of gross. Although she is funny. Like I like when when she's in the police station and she tries to like seduce the police officer, and he's just like, ugh.
Mm-hmm. But Bruce, I didn't think Bruce Willis was good. I didn't like Matthew Perry was I thought fine. I thought like clearly like a TV guy. No, nobody was like maybe Michael Clark Duncan. I think I liked him maybe the most.
I don't know. Perry, I thought he handles the physical comedy, some of the deliveries. There are a couple of lines I felt like he made better. Like I thought about what the line would have looked like on paper.
I hated the line deliveries in the second movie.
Well, yeah, I think
that movie's all line delivery.
It's the second one's just a total sitcom, and it's also PG-13, so it's missing some edge that the first one has.
Yeah. The second one only had Batista. But yeah, so I thought, by the way,
why'd you go with Batista, not Christian?
Oh yeah, why did I do that? But I did that because I tried well, I could have gone Christian, but I tried to name a wrestler with like a name like Edge, like just like a word,
Sure.
you know. And I didn't want to say like John Cena, but I guess like Christian, the one right next to him, I probably should have gone with. But I thought Batista would have been a good one. But you're right. By the way, two moments I thought were like I like to bring up reality TV, but the moment that I thought was like the new age Survivor idols, right? We get a moment where one of them's like it's the Hinstridge, just like me and this guy and this guy, we split $10 million, and so we're trying to kill each other. And that's like how the immunity idols on Survivor are these days. It's like, well, like I have this part, you have this part, you have this part, and if you get voted out, then it becomes this, and then if you get voted out, then it becomes this. And so that's what they're trying to do in this movie a little bit.
And it's the same thing in the second movie with that dollar bill that Kevin Pollak rips in half.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, it is a little bit like that. Yeah. And then at the end of the movie, I thought it was like a little bit like Love Island, right? We get a part where they're in the bank, and it's like, Henstridge, do you want to split the money, or do you want to stay with your love, Matthew Perry? What is it that you want to do? And she decides that she wants to stay with Matthew Perry. That was a great moment.
Do you know that there's like a Love Island spin-off happening right now called
No.
the Love Island Games?
I had no idea.
It's just they're bringing back former Love Island people to do like challenges.
What?
Yeah,
Only the single ones though, right?
I
Like
guess
so.
like
Zay, like Sydney and Isaiah, they wouldn't be on here.
well, they would be, unfortunately.
Well, no, Daniel. When did this happen?
Very recently.
Oh my god! Why did you tell me?
I'm sorry. I didn't want to break your heart.
Oh, no. That's crazy. That love is fake. There's no such thing as love if Isaiah and Sydney aren't gonna get married. Oh,
I know.
has there ever been a success on Love Island? No,
No.
right?
You know who just got married though is Caro from season 1. Remember her?
To who? Yeah, I remember her.
To just some random guy.
Holy shit! Congratulations, Caro.
Yeah, I thought so. I was happy for her.
I liked Caro. I always thought she should have gone onto the challenge. I thought she.
I thought so too. She's great character.
Caro could do. All right. So I guess I'll go 2 stars, but I really didn't like it. But compared to if you want to know what a 1-star movie is, just watch Whole 10 Yards. So this is the 2, I guess. So
Yeah, I'm gonna go 2 as well. But like, to me, I'm closer to a 3 than I am a 1.
No, I didn't really like the acting all that much, and I thought it was just convoluted for convoluted's sake. I gave up on the movie.
What about when Bruce Willis throws him that beer and he lets it go over his shoulder?
Yeah, no, and that was actually that was a funny moment.
That was very funny.
You know what? I mean, it's PG-13. They probably would have done it if it wasn't PG-13. But I liked in the second one how they didn't make Amanda Peek it naked, or they didn't make her show her boobs again. I thought that was nice.
I disliked that about the second movie. I also thought like Jonathan Lynn just brought a little bit more to the direction. Like there were a couple of little moments
I agree.
that were enhanced by his camera.
Well, there's a nice wonder in the second one with Matthew Perry just like talking like in a room.
Yeah,
Like
I liked the scene in the first one where he's like trying to drill that guy's teeth and his hand is shaking and he can't get his hand to stop shaking, and then they move the camera angle so you can see the guy he's working on, and like he just looks fucking terrified.
We didn't talk about the big thing in this movie, how the Harlan Williams they plant like the dental records, like they make it seem like Bruce Willis died in the car explosion with Yanni, the guy Yanni.
Yanni Gogolak.
Yeah, so that's a big thing in this movie, and it leads into the next movie. They were like, "What can we do with this movie?" Oh yeah, the thing from last movie. That's what we'll do.
Isn't it amazing that like 1 year ago you didn't know who Harlan Williams was?
Yeah, now I've seen him in like 4 movies.
Yeah, he's like your number 1 actor now on IMDb or on Letterboxd.
It's probably, I think this year it'd be Tom Cruise because I watched it, and then it'd be like Gerard Butler. I'm pretty sure. Was still what it is.
Gerard Butler. I tried to watch Kandahar and I couldn't
Really?
find it for cheap enough.
That's crazy. I'm sure Ross Flicks. Ross Flicks.
Yeah,
has got
Ross
it.
Flicks. Give me Kandahar if you can.
Kandahar. You're so fucking funny. Oh my god. Gotta watch Kandahar.
I gotta watch Kandahar, the new Butler.
Who is LVP?
I think it's Rosanna Arquette.
No way. I think she's my MVP. Anytime she's on screen, I thought she was so funny.
Okay.
I like her delivery of everything. I think I might go Harlan Williams, maybe. Oh, maybe Yanni. I think I might go Yanni in this one.
Kevin Pollak.
Yeah, sorry.
All right. I'm gonna go oh, we already did that. Okay, let's move on. The next movie. Okay, so 4 years later, for some reason, they made a fucking sequel to The Whole Nine Yards, believe it or not. And we've got a whole different crew involved. The Mitchell Kapner, who wrote the first movie, does have a story credit on this one, but the primary screenplay credit actually goes to the legendary George Gallo, the fellow who wrote Midnight Run.
Wow.
I mean, not that like his career has gone particularly well since then. He's worked on some really shitty movies. Like, I'm not super surprised to see him here, but it's just always odd to see that guy's name on something this bad.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, he also wrote like C Spot Run. So what are we really doing here?
See, the Bad Boys. That was a
He has a
one.
story credit on Bad Boys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But our director, we also have a new director by the name of Howard Deutsch, who used to be kind of a big name director, and then he just made flop after flop after flop until he was relegated to television.
Any
But,
relation to Zoe? Is it Zoe? Is that the
Yes,
person?
that is his daughter.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. I had no idea.
Yeah. Because the joke's on us. He gets to bone Leah Thompson every day of his
Really?
life if he wants. Yeah.
Holy cow. That's her mom?
Yeah, Zoe Deutsch
What
is
the
the
hell is
daughter
going on?
of Howard Deutsch and Leah Thompson.
How long have you known about that?
Years.
What the hell? That's crazy.
Yeah. You want to hear my Howard Deutsch ranking?
Yeah. I see he's made a lot of big ones. Well, a few
Okay.
of them.
I've seen 7 Howard Deutsch movies. Here they are ranked. Number 7, Getting Even with Dad. Now, maybe that one's not as bad as I'm saying. Not it is here, but like I just saw it in theaters as a kid, and you know when you see a movie in theaters as a kid and already you're like, I think that might have been bad.
Yeah,
it's like,
I'm not
you
sure what
know-
my first experience like that is.
Yeah, I felt that way watching that movie, so I always remember it in my head as being bad. But if someone wants to defend it to me, I'd be willing. Also, Macaulay Culkin had long hair in it, and it was uncomfortable. I don't
You know
want him
what-
to have long hair.
You know what mine might be is the not to bring up a bad night for you, but the Mummy Tomb of the Dragon.
That was a bad night for me.
that was probably my first experience like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I was 10. There has to be one before that, but that's a big one I could think of.
No, I get it. Like, I remember one when I was like 10, also called Star Kid with
Yeah.
Joseph Mazzello from Jurassic Park. That was another one where I was like, this is terrible. I'm this was a waste of time going to the movies, and that's not
Oh,
something I've ever
no.
said before.
Yeah.
All right, number 6 is The Whole 10 Yards. Number 5, The Odd Couple 2. He's expert at belated sequels. Number 4, The Replacements with Keanu Reeves.
Yep.
All right. And
So you go to
And-
directing like football scenes?
why do you say that?
Well, it's a football movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
Are there not like football scenes? Is he good like
Oh, I
good
mean,
sports director?
It's fine. It's not particularly like that movie, to be honest, is like really bad. It's only as high on the list as it is because Gene Hackman's good in it.
Okay, he's the coach.
Yeah, he's the coach.
Okay.
Number 3 on the list, Some Kind of Wonderful. He worked with John Hughes in the 80s. That's how this guy made his name. Is like John Hughes. He was like he was writing so many movies that at a certain point he was like, I can't direct all of these.
Is this guy
I gotta-
bad Chris Columbus?
he's he's less successful, Chris Columbus, for
Okay.
sure.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it's funny. Like I'm reading all the early Stan Lee Marvel comics now, and I'm starting to see the same thing happen where Stan is like, there's so many now that I can't write them all. And he started to like pass them along to other people.
Like Josh.
What? Oh, you mean like Marty Noxon or whatever?
Yeah, like he started giving off his shows. He's like, you can have Buffy and you can have
Yeah,
Angel.
yeah. I guess you're right. Yeah. But yeah, Howie Deutsch was that for John Hughes. Anyway, his top 3 movies are all John Hughes movies. Number 3, Some Kind of Wonderful, with Eric Stoltz and Mary Stuart Masterson. That I believe is where he met his wife, Leah Thompson. Number 2 is The Great Outdoors with John Candy and Dan excuse me, Dan Aykroyd. Very charming movie. And number 1, of course,
Pretty in Pink.
Yeah, Pretty in Pink.
You never saw My Best Friend's Girl?
No.
Oh,
is that like a
wow.
Dane Cook movie?
Yeah, I see it's on the list. It's one that you haven't seen. Yeah, My Best Friend's Girl. It's got Dane Cook, Kate Hudson, Jason Biggs, Alec Baldwin, Lizzie Kaplan.
Wow, how have I never seen that? I've also never seen Grumpier Old Men because
Yeah.
I've been waiting for us to do Grumpy Old Men on the podcast.
Okay. You really been waiting for that?
Yes,
Like excited to do that?
mildly.
Oh, Walter Matthau, Jack Lemmon, that's those guys?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And Margaret, I just saw her in something. Carnal Knowledge, yeah. That's crazy.
There you go.
All right, that'll be fun. Kevin Pollak is in that movie.
Yeah, man, he was in everything in the 90s. What are we talking about? Oh, Total 10 Yards. Right. Okay.
Kevin Pollak was in Buffalo 66. Who's he there? The dad?
No, he's like a mobster on the phone, I think.
Rosanna Arquette's in that movie too. What's going on?
Wendy Balsam. That's like
How do you know
the
that?
girl he went to school with that he wants to impress.
Yeah, you're right.
I watched that movie a lot. I owned it on VHS.
Good movie.
So this came out April 7th, 2004 on a budget of $40 million. And it made $26.2 million at the box office. Kind of tanked. Came in at number 119 for the year between Catch That Kid.
Wow, great film.
It's
It's got Kristen Stewart, Corbin Blue. Really fun movie. Gotta catch that kid.
Great.
They're like hacking, riding around on skateboards and shit, scooters.
Yeah,
Really fun.
I remember the trailer was like kids wearing like leather jumpsuits doing like the Mission Impossible
It's
thing.
awesome, yeah. I think her dad might be somebody famous, like Jeff Daniels or somebody. I don't think it's Jeff Daniels. I don't know who it is. Who's in
Wow.
Catch That Kid? I actually want to know.
Jeff
That'd be cool
Daniels,
if it was Jeff
the only
Daniels.
man that Aaron Sorkin loves more than Matthew Perry.
Is it Sam Robards? I don't know. Yeah, it is.
What?
Sam Robards is her dad. I don't know who that is. But Max Theroux is in it. You know who that is? He was in some movies.
You mean from SEAL Team? Duh.
Is he in that?
Yes,
I'm
he's
not looking at his
regular on
TV
that.
credits. Yeah. He was in some movies though.
He's second build, baby. It's starring David Boreanaz and Max Tierrera.
That was incredible.
Okay. So oh, hey, can I say another bummer thing from the first whole 9 yards?
Yeah.
I forgot this from my notes. He goes, she at one point, I may hate my life, but I certainly don't want to die.
Yeah.
Matthew Perry goes, everyone dies.
Everyone dies.
I'm like, oh my God.
Everyone
It's bad.
dies.
Everyone does just die. Like eventually all the friends are gonna be dead.
No. Not
No,
Matt
which
LeBlanc.
one do you think is
He's invincible.
he's immortal?
He's immortal.
LeBlanc will live forever, man, in our hearts. Okay. So this movie, it opens on a flashback to like Kevin Pollak and some kids.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
And
it reminded me of like Better Call Saul or something like with the or Breaking Bad with those two twins, like when they were little kids. You know what I'm talking
It's
about?
weird because, yeah, of course. It reminded me so much. Like, one kid is clearly supposed to be Bruce Willis, but then later in this movie, they treat it as this huge reveal that Kevin Pollak was Bruce Willis's dad. And
Yeah,
I'm like, I thought they told us that the first scene.
yeah. When that happened, I was like, "What? Am I supposed to feel shocked right now?" Like I was very confused with how I was supposed to feel. Like I thought I kind of knew that, but maybe I didn't. I don't know. Very
Well, I
weird.
guess I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
Um. All right. So, and then it cuts to 2004. So it's real time. It's about 4 years after the events of the first movie. We catch up with Bruce Willis. He's like wearing an apron that looks sort of like a skirt, and
Mhm.
he's got long blonde hair, and he, it's funny because that's gay.
Okay.
Yeah. And I that's what I remember the trailers of this movie being. All the trailers of this movie were just shots of Bruce Willis dressed sort of like a lady and like dancing around his house and like going like, "Oh, my roast." That was in the trailer. Like that they were trying to sell it. Like, this movie is going to be fucking hilarious. It's going to be Bruce Willis doing not manly shit.
Yeah, very funny.
Yeah. Um then Then we check in with Kevin Pollak, and I'm like, we already fucking saw Kevin Pollak in that last friend in the fucking flashback. You can't show me Kevin Pollak in this movie twice before I see goddamn Matthew Perry.
Good, great point. Yep. Good
Leave me
call.
alone, Pollak.
Yeah.
All right. And then finally, it's Matthew Perry, and I don't know, he's being like a scared little pussy. Like, he's got like video cameras all over his house. He's trying to, he's scared of intruders. And I'm like, I thought like the whole point of the first movie was that like he like gained a backbone. Like, he's more of like a strong fella now.
Yeah. Well, no, you're not weak if you're trying to be safe, right?
That's what you have to do in sequels, though. It's like if the character learned a lesson in the first movie, you have to just pretend they didn't anymore.
He's just being cautious.
Please. And Natasha Henstridge is hanging around. Hey, was it the first movie that ended with them just like dancing together on a balcony?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
strange.
This one ends, they're just like walking off, like, now we're gonna go
Oh,
be
right.
rich.
Yeah, yeah. I believe they were driving off. No.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Like the end of 13 Reasons Why, season 1.
Fuck off. How about like the end of Buffy season 2?
Oh. Oh man. Yeah. But she's like on a bus. She's not driving.
True. Good point. All right, Britt, talk to me. I've
All
done
right.
enough.
So yeah. So we meet this guy Strabo, right? And Strabo
Bravo.
is Laszlo's other son, right?
Oh yeah, he sucks.
I like Strabo.
Oh my
MVP
god,
Strabo.
are you crazy? I feel like I'm gonna give LVP to both of your MVPs.
I love Strabo. I was sad when he was revealed to be dead. I thought it was very mean at the end of the movie when they were like when he was already dead, but they were pretending with Laszlo that he was still alive. I was like, that is mean spirited. Like, I know everything's going on, but that is cold blooded. I thought it made me mad at the movie a little bit. But I was a big fan of Strabo. I thought it was funny.
Okay, I did not.
All right, we differ on Strabo, I guess. And also Jill's still around, right? Jill, Amanda Peet, she's still.
Oh
married
yeah, of
to
course. She's
Bruce
still
Willis.
married to Bruce Willis, and she's trying to be a hit woman, but she has yet to commit her first kill. I think
Right.
that's fucking ridiculous.
Me too.
Because like this is 4 years later.
It was kind of
And
funny though, like when
and
she
she
comes
was
in,
already-
she's like, "Oh, the guy died, but it wasn't because of me." I thought that was kind of funny, but you're right. That's bullshit. Like, it's been 4 years.
Yeah, if she's been a working hitman since before the first movie started, because she's already hired as a hitman by the time we meet her. Like,
Right.
how has she not committed a murder yet? That seems insane to me.
It seems like she would be dead if she's in the hitman business and hasn't
Yeah,
killed anybody.
if exactly. If it's been 4 years as a hitman and you've yet to kill somebody, like you'd either be like pinched or fucking killed.
What's pinched mean?
Put in prison.
Oh, pinched mate sounded like killed a little bit.
No,
But
arrested.
yeah, that didn't make any sense to me. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. That's complete bullshit. Does she kill anybody during this movie? Is that a thing?
I think she does. Yeah, she like gets her first kill or something.
They like
It's a big
pivot and like
moment.
her character becomes like then she's trying to seduce not Chandler, what's his name? Oz. She's trying to seduce Oz, but then
And I got excited for a second because I wanted them to be together in the first movie.
oh,
and
that would have been actually
frankly-
good.
Frankly, in this movie, so the first movie is
that.
the first movie is a fucking farce, right? Like you can end whatever characters with whoever you want. Like Matthew Perry and Natasha Henstridge, they meet one time, they fuck in a hotel room, they immediately tell each other they love each other, fine, and then they live happily ever after. But if you're really gonna do a sequel that takes place 5 years later, then we have to check in on these people, and you have to realistically explain to me what their relationship is like 5 years hence.
Yeah, exactly.
They did not do a good job either with the Pete Willis relationship or the Henstridge Perry relationship in convincing me why these people would ever spend any amount of time together whatsoever. And
No, you're right.
like across these two movies, the two characters that make the most sense together are fucking Amanda Peet and Matthew Perry. And when
Yeah.
they started going that route in this movie, it was almost like that's fun. Like it really kind of doesn't make sense to end the first movie like that. But if you're gonna do a second movie, then explore that because like that lends itself to the story. But then they just like backed out on it completely and fucking
Yeah, no,
Uh,
that's a great point. That's way more interesting than going back to the plot of like, oh, now his dental records were found and Laszlo is after them. Like, why not go to the like? That's a way more interesting plot. is
yeah,
just
I
that
think
these
the
two characters should
move
actually be together.
yeah, the move is to have this film be about how these two couples realize that they're matched with the wrong people. And for Bruce Willis to get back together with Natasha Henstridge, who he seems to have better chemistry with, and for Matthew Perry to go with Pete, who was hired to kill him, and then was so charmed by him that she could not.
Exactly. That was the whole thing. She liked him too much. She couldn't do it. Yeah. But the scene didn't make any sense where she's trying to seduce him, and then Bruce Willis comes in and catches them, and then it's like, and then she's like, "Oh, okay," and then like that seemed to be like the end of that plot, and it seemed like better her and Bruce Willis's relationship. It didn't make any sense to me. I don't know.
No.
But-
There's so many scenes in these movies where they show something that doesn't make any fucking sense, and then like a scene later, you find out like everyone in the scene knew they were like in on something, and
right.
we just weren't privy to it until now, and it's whatever.
Yeah.
It's sort of like that scene on Big Brother last night, or 2 nights ago, where Bowie Jane asked Jag and Matt to pick a number, but then we find out that
Yeah.
Jag and Bowie Jane had come up with that beforehand.
When you brought up Big Brother, I thought you were gonna be joking. You were just like making, oh, it's like that
No,
Big Brother thing.
no,
But then
it's
you really
serious.
pointed to a great Big Brother example. Yeah. There's been a few of that this season. They've sort of
Yeah.
played with that. Yeah. Great job, D-Train.
Thanks.
Yeah, but we haven't talked about something else in this movie. Remember Frankie Figs?
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Go ahead.
He has a sister that he never talked about. We never knew about, named Julie, and she's in this movie, and she's mad that they killed her brother. That's her
And-
character.
I thought that was crazy. Like that they made his dental assistant again.
Oh, yeah.
like
That's kind of funny.
a
Actually,
person undercover or whatever.
I kind of like that.
It almost felt like they thought they were gonna make a bunch of these, and like that was gonna be a thing throughout them.
the defense against the dark arts teacher is always bad.
Yes, yes,
his
exactly.
dental assistant is always bad. That'd be a great bit. That's kind of funny. That'd be my favorite thing about these movies. But she sucked. I thought I didn't like. I don't know if the actor was bad, but I thought the whole conceit of this character was beyond stupid.
Yeah, I thought the actor was kind of fine. I looked her up and I was surprised that she hasn't. Well, she kind of has worked a lot, but like exclusively in like straight to DVD movies, like pandering to the black market. Not the black market,
The black market.
the black market. But anyway, the character didn't work for me more than the actors didn't work for me.
Yeah, I think that's what I mean by that. The actor's probably fine. That's how I felt about the girl from Insidious, though.
Which Insidious girl?
The roommate, Ty Simpkins' roommate.
Oh,
in the latest,
God
I felt
damn
that
it.
the actor was pretty okay, but the character just sucked.
That fucking character. If I had to guess what that character was doing right now, I would predict becoming radicalized by Hamas.
Oh, who knows? Who knows? But
All right. Logan,
yeah,
what do you give whole 10 yards?
I'll give it a 1.
Me too. Who's your
Yeah.
MVP?
I'm gonna go. I gotta go Strabo. When I think about this
Fucking
movie, I'll think about the part where
Strabo.
Strabo was dead, but then they tried to make him seem alive, but then they blew up his body because that part made me sad. So I'll think Strabo MVP.
You are out of control, man.
What do you
Um,
got?
I don't know. I'll just go with Perry.
Really? I guess so. What up,
I
Bruce
mean,
Willis? He's pretty funny.
No, all that like, ooh, look at me.
A lot of
Flouncing
gay panic. In this
Oh
movie.
yeah, they wake up in bed together, and Bruce Willis is naked, and Oz is like, "My butt hurts. What did we?" And he's like, "You fell down the stairs."
No, he's like, it was
And
just
then he
two
walks
men
out,
helping each other.
and then he
out.
walks out, and there were no stairs. What?
Hilarious. But I like that. I mean, I don't like it, but it was like we were just helping each other out. And he was like, "What do you mean by that? We're helping each other do what? Just helping each other."
Come.
It's a lot of that.
We were
stuff.
helping each other. Come.
What happened though?
That only Bruce knows.
Yeah, like did something sinister happen there? I don't. Like, what are we
Yes,
supposed to believe?
Something sinister did happen. They found something spooky in the attic of their new house.
Oh no, Bagul! I think that's the name of that guy. That's one of the dumber endings. You remember that ending? He like pops into frame, like, gotcha.
I love it. I love it.
So dumb. It's like an Insidious ending, basically.
Better than anything in Insidious.
Anything in Insidious? That's
Yeah.
stupid. No, that's crazy. So my LVP, I think I wrote down a character named Julie. Julie Figs. That's Frankie Figs' sister.
There you go. Yeah. I'm gonna go with we should have known that the only black character in this movie would have turned out to be the sister of the only black character from the other movie.
Great call. Yeah. We're so naive.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Pollock as my LVP in this one. I found him insufferable.
I liked him.
Okay.
We have completely different views on these performances in these movies.
It's true.
So there we go. I really didn't like covering these movies.
All right, what's next?
Let's wait
week,
for the
Logan?
Patreon.
Right.
Patreon or next week? What should we do first?
No, do Patreon.
All right, Patreon. Jack Bulberry says, my favorite part of the movie, I think he's talking about the first movie probably, is when Matthew Perry doesn't catch the beer and it just falls into the water. And
Boom.
Bruce Willis's face is hilarious.
Boom.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
That is probably one of the best parts. And then Michael Babcock says, did they get along when Bruce guest starred on Friends? And when did this movie and then did this movie, or were they both in this movie and then Matthew talked him into guest starring on Friends? I think Daniel said he was in this movie.
Yeah.
And then
they got
Friends.
along on this movie. They filmed it between seasons 5 and 6 of Friends. And then Bruce pops up during season 6 of Friends because he enjoyed his time with Perry on this movie. Apparently, Bruce Willis he had the entire penthouse suite, which was like multiple floors and like multiple bedrooms of like a hotel during the entire making of this movie. And he would throw a party there after filming every night. So the whole cast and crew, like after filming, they would just go straight to Bruce Willis's hotel room and like get drunk,
That's crazy.
which sounds great. Like a documentary about those parties would be much more interesting than anything going on in either of these movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
So thank you guys. All right, next week. We ready for next week?
I am ready.
All right.
I'm not looking forward to it, but I'm ready.
All right. Well, you should be, because I think we're only going to do one movie, right?
Yeah, that's true.
That'll be great. We haven't done this in a long time. I think it'll be really good. We've got a wrestling show this week. So we're going to be watching a lot.
Well,
so.
Yeah, patreon.com/the franchise. Make sure you're there this week. We've got on Buffy's Angels, Superstar in Eternity, Buffy episode and an Angel episode. And then Hey, I'm Watching Here, and the Sunday Night Wars, where this week we're talking about the 1986 WrestleMania 2 and Starrcade. All right, and what are we covering here on the main show?
Well, first of all, Ryder Strong and Big Brother 15 winner, and neither of them saw these movies or logged them. So
Bummer.
But by the way, me and you know this, but not everybody else. Henry gave the first movie 1 star. He fucking hates the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, I think he saw it
Good for
in
him.
theaters and hated it, and never bothered to see the second one.
Yeah. So salute to Henry. He was the only one that gave it 1 star. I thought that that was a bold choice. So pretty cool. And then Aussie Scott gave the second one 1 star, but that's all I could really pull.
That's
from
fair
him.
enough, man.
Yeah. So, all right. But next week, guys, 20 years ago, this was going to be like an anniversary movie. I don't know the exact day of the year that it came out, but 20 years ago this year, a little film not little film. It's based on a
It's
Disney
an enormous film.
directed by, we talked about him a little bit. We teased you guys with Gore Verbinski. You're probably like, ooh, what movie were they talking about? But here we go. We're going to talk about a few great gentlemen, right? Next week, we've got Orlando Bloom and we've got Johnny Depp.
And not just gentlemen, a lovely lady.
But those guys are funny. Like Keira Knightley's not funny. Those guys are funny. You know?
Okay.
But we're going to Pirates of the, what do you say? Caribbean? Which one do you say?
I'd say Caribbean.
I feel like everybody says, like, if you're just like talking about the Caribbean, you say the Caribbean, but Pirates of the Caribbean, you say it like that, right? That's what everybody does.
And colon, the
Curse
Curse
of the
Black Pearl. Yeah.
Yeah, just the first one next week. We're not digging into the dead man's chest.
And then we're gonna do
none of that
right.
shit.
Then we're gonna do like the closeout to the trilogy, like the Matrix Reloaded Revolutions of Dead Man's Chest and At World's End in 1 week, and then the following week we'll do the belated ones.
Yeah, what is the last one called? We got Stranger Tide, and then we've got
on Stranger Tides and Dead Men Tell No Tales.
Yeah, Dead Men Tell No Tales. That's right.
And the only one of these I've ever seen is the first one.
I saw definitely the first 2, but the first one is the only one that I really know that well. And I might have seen the third one. I guess when I'm watching it, I'll be like, oh, I remember this. But I love the first movie. I think it's one of the last great like adventure movies we ever got. So,
what about Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny?
Come on, no, God. But that'd be a lot of
Tomb
fun.
Raider. It's Tomb Raider with Alicia Vikander. The last great adventure film.
Great? No, that was fine. I'm not even sure that was good.
Hey,
I know you like it. I know. But yeah, so that's what we're doing next week. Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl.